Let's talk about it. About it, yeah. Let's talk about it, let's talk about it, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, let's talk about it, let's talk about it. In the air, toast one in the air. Let's talk about it. Yeah, in the air, toast one in the air. Let's talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Baby, let's talk about it, talk about it.
Thank you guys for watching our show. First, let's talk about it. I have two amazing people here today with me. I have the talented superstar, pop star, Afro beats, rock star, everything, Mic O with me. I'm excited to have him. And I have the very educated and the most intelligent black man out there representing us, LeLann For President. So I can't wait for us to start this conversation and for you guys to learn stuff and enjoy it and have fun with us. Let's go.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for coming to the show, you know. But we wanted to know, so what are you guys working on right now? I know you have your album Attah out, which I love, by the way. Like, I was listening to it nonstop last time I was putting people on. So yeah, tell us about it.
So yeah, like you said, like I just put on an album on my birthday, September 26th, called Attah, and the album has been doing like pretty well so far. Like my local fan base and people around who have heard it so far, like they love the project, and it's definitely like a step up for me, you know. So like I'm very, very grateful that it came out the time it did. So but right now, like we just kind of like paused the promo because there's a lot of like unrest going on like back in Nigeria right now. We just want to like be respectful to, you know, the Africans, because Afrobeat is from Africa, you know, and I just wouldn't feel good just promoting music right now with all that's going on. So right now it's kind of like on pause, you know, the promo aspect of it. But the album is out right now for, you know, everybody else, you know, on all platforms. So,
on all platforms. Yeah. All right, make sure you guys, you take a listen to it, check it out. And it's a good thing you brought, you know, what's going on in Nigeria, because, you know, that's why I kind of really want to get insight from, you know, LeLann too, because, you know, he's in politics. By the way, we have his really nice merch here, LeLann For President.
Okay.
And you know, yes.
Thank you for supporting.
Yes, no problem. So we wanted to know, do we have a third option here, or what's going on with LeLann For President? Because I want to vote for LeLann right now.
Yes, well, I am not running for president. I do own, however, a political education company. And so my goal is to teach people the position, purpose, and power of each elected official. I know a lot of people, main focus is telling people to get out and vote, but I think that that's a disservice if we don't actually teach them what they're actually out there voting for. And so I want to make sure that, well, I started this company to make sure that we have the ability to teach people about what they're voting for before we tell them to go vote. And so that's what LeLann For President's focus is. We're a political education company. We want to make sure that we are educating people to go vote before we're telling them to actually go vote.
Right. Because God knows we need it, because we also have people that's like not comfortable with voting. They're like, oh, it's not going to change anything anyway. So whether I vote or not, it doesn't matter. So, you know, you're like the perfect person to just let the world know like what we should do, you know?
Your vote does matter. I just want to make sure that that's very clear, that please go vote.
Will do. Y'all heard it here. And so we want to talk about just what's going on with, you know, Nigeria, because like you said, Afrobeats is like, it's a hit right now in the US, which is like, it took me by surprise, you know, in clubs and stuff. We never used to hear it, you know. So, you know, Afrobeats just kind of took off out of nowhere. And then now with this whole thing going on, it's kind of like unexpected, you know. And what do you think is going on there? Like,
I think what's going on in Africa is kind of like something that we knew was going to happen eventually. Because Africa is like a beautiful, like, let me not say Africa, let me talk about my country. Nigeria is a beautiful country with a lot of resources. You know, we're blessed with oil, we have land, we have so many great things going for us. We even have more oil than Dubai, I think. But yet, Dubai is more developed, you know what I'm saying? And what that speaks to is just that we have bad leadership. You know, we have presidents who are collecting millions of dollars, you know, and there's people who are poor and sick and hungry, and they don't care about those people, you know. So eventually what ended up happening was the police was being treated unfairly by the government. The government is paying them, you know, less than they should be paid for. And so because of that, the police are, you know, taking their frustration on the people by taxing the people. And if the people start up a fight, they try to intimidate them with their guns. But this the thing about Nigerians, you don't really intimidate them with guns. You know, they want to be loud too. And so the police, some of the bad ones, kill innocent civilians. So after this happened over a time, people got frustrated. You know, people got frustrated and they started protesting. They're like, okay, you guys are not giving us money. And we didn't complain. Right? We're happy. But we're asking you guys to stop killing us. And they started protesting, but yet the police and soldiers are killing people. Right? So that's what this whole like end SARS thing is about, end police brutality is about. What the real cry of Nigerians is that they want to stop bad governance. You know, they want the wealth to be spread, you know, equally among the people. You know what I'm saying? They want the government to take care of the people, fix the roads that need to be fixed, you know, the hospitals, the police stations, pay the teachers, pay the police. That way they don't give the civilians problems. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's kind of like what's been going on there, and the government is trying to like hide it, cover it up, but everything's blowing up on social media, and that's why I'm grateful. Like we live in this social media age where you can't really hide all this stuff, because that's what the government does.
And I really feel like Afro beats have a lot to do with it. I was thinking about it last time because a lot of Americans are like, you know, they're singing Afro beats. Afro beats is getting played everywhere. All of the celebrity, the musicians are making, you know, making music together with Africans, which is amazing. So I think it may not have been highlighted that much if we didn't, you know, if Afrobeats didn't take over here musically. That's so, how much music have power.
The power of music, yeah. Like that's one thing that, you know, a lot of people don't really think about. Like music is so powerful. Like music is one of those things that can move from Nigeria. Like you said, people are listening to it here. People made songs in Lagos, and somehow the songs are being played here at parties, clubs, and even concerts, you know, everywhere here. So like music is very, very powerful. And for us, like you said, that music was one of the reasons why people even knew about like Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? Because of how much our music traveled around the world and stuff. So you are right, like music has a very, very big impact on why people even know about what's going on right now. Because Beyonce was kind of forced to actually even make a statement about it, because she has fans from there who are kind of crying out like, yo, we need awareness about this, because the government is trying to act like this is not going on. But we want to make sure this is publicized to the world, and make sure everybody like knows what's going on like in Nigeria right now.
I think that even here in the United States, it's the same thing. You see Republicans going after black influential musicians such as 50 Cent, such as Ice Cube, Kanye West, because they understand that the power of influence, the power of music, the power of storytelling. And I tell people I led a protest on Music Row with independent artists here in Nashville, and talked about how music with a message has been less and less played, and how much harder it is for a person with a message to make it to mainstream media, because you have people such as Lupe Fiasco, who was putting his message in his music, and they understood, hey, when you put a message in music, even with bringing African slaves to America, they wanted to make sure they stripped them of all of those things, because they understood, hey, y'all are telling messages, y'all are relaying messages to one another through your music. And so the system whether that's just the American system or the global system, understands the power of music and the power that the power of influence through music. So I definitely think that Afrobeats plays a huge part in being able to raise awareness. I think that music plays a huge part in being able to bring attention to any situation, and I think that because of that, we see our enemies, I guess you can say, or the system using that to their advantage as well. So definitely to other musicians and to people like you who make music, I appreciate the fact that you all understand not only that you're a musician, but that you also have influence, and that your influence will either, like you said, bring awareness to situations such as police brutality, even if it's back in your home country or if it's right here in America, and be able to use that as a power situation instead of being silent or not putting it in your music and just dealing with it on your own, like allowing people to understand that, hey, this is a legitimate situation that's going on, and I'm going to use my platform to bring light to it.
Right, and another artist that, you know, had a lot of influence was to Nipsey Hussle.
Yes,
a lot of people were sleeping on him,
Nipsey,
but
yeah.
you know, he was telling people, hey, you know, like, live up to your purpose. Don't just wait, you know, don't waste air. So, like you said, you know, they don't get mainstreamed like the, you know, the conscious artists out there, you know. But also, what I wanted to ask you about is what Michael brought up. Okay, so in Nigeria, the police, they're underpaid, so they feel like, you know, they have to retaliate. What do you think is the excuse here? I mean, besides the obvious, do you think it's just racism, or do you think they're underpaid?
I think it's a mixture of both. So here in Nashville, we have a budget deficit, and so our police officers, our first responders are underpaid. Our budget isn't able to afford them the full services that they need, whether you agree that we need to give them more or not. When you look at the overall budget and understand first responders, that includes EMCs, so your ambulances, that includes firemen, fire trucks, fire stations, things of that nature. And so here in America, I think that the issue is a mixture of both. Of one, this police system was created not necessarily to benefit black communities. That protect and serve wasn't necessarily meant for black communities. And so I think that there is a portion of it that deals with solely, this is a racist system that is against black people, and so therefore that is a factor into it. I don't think that that's the only thing, but I do think that racism does play a huge factor in why we have what we have in America. And then on top of that, the budget situation, where if, for example, you have a good cop who's underpaid, who's dealing with the same situations as any average American who's struggling to pay their bills, struggling to figure out how they're going to pay for their kids' college, struggling for figuring out how to pay medical bills, things of that nature, when you put that stress on top of this system that's in place, on top of you have a group of people, you have black people who are tired of dealing with police brutality. So this person, this police officer may not go into it with the intent that you're a black person, I'm trying to kill you, but in the same sense, he's on his last straw as well. And so he may come across a black kid that's like, F the police.
Right.
And so he's like, you know, I'm tired of being disrespected. Like you were saying, as far as, you know, I want more because my government's not giving it to me. And so here in America, he may feel like, you know what, this badge means you have to show me respect. And so after being underpaid and dealing with everything, plus the training for his police training wasn't adequate to handle black communities, he goes into these situations fully unprepared. And when you have someone who's unprepared with a gun and with the justice system behind him against a young black kid who has nothing to support him, you see situations like America where the outcome is the individual child or whatever they may be, the black person gets the short end of the stick, because at least that person with the badge has a fraternal order of police that's backing him, that's going to get his support. He has at least a lawyer that's going to come stand for him, whereas we don't have those privileges. And so I think that it's a combination of, yes, they're underpaid, but also racism does play a strong part.
Wow, yes. And I mean, that's what's a shame, like, for that type of thing to happen in, like, Africa in general and in Nigeria right now, because I just feel like, damn, we're all black. Why does the same problem that we're living in here, like the Africans that live here, the Nigerians that live here, they have to deal with that here, and their families are dealing with that back home. So it's like, damn, we're all black there though. Why do we have to deal with that? But
I think with that one is like, I heard this like statement before saying like the black man's problem is self-hate.
yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
We don't value
Malcolm
our
X.
own life. That's Malcolm X, right? Yeah, I don't know how we get all this stuff.
Yes.
But shout out to Malcolm X. Well, he's dead now.
Still shout out to
Is
my
that-
Shout out to him.
Yeah. I know he inspires LeLann in a big way.
Yeah.
But so like that's the biggest problem, and I feel like when I hate myself to the point where I cannot, value the life of my fellow brother, you know what I'm saying? Then and I take his life or take somebody else's life who's black, then the message I'm passing across is that, like, and if that happens like over time, the message I'm passing across is that we don't value each other. So it makes it okay for anybody else to do that to us, So I feel like in my country, I would say like people are probably dealing with a lot of self-hate. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, with all the oppression and all that stuff. See, in America, when you go through a lot of stuff, you can deal with it here because there's a lot of stuff that available to you. You have counseling, you have distractions. Some people can't even go to the club to distract themselves in Africa. They have to deal with that pain. They don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have YouTube to go listen to some motivational speaker. You know what I'm saying? So like they're stuck with that, and if they're not careful, it'll eat them up. And it's just the wrong moment at the wrong time, and they'll do some stupid stuff that they'll regret, most likely, like, after they do it, So, like, I feel like that's kind of, like, what's going on in my country. It's just a lot of frustration, man, like, just being oppressed for so long. It's like, it's so easy to snap. It's so easy to pull out the gun. It's so if you have one, because you're just frustrated. And
Are guns allowed in Nigeria? Like, can anybody buy
I don't
one?
think it's allowed. I think they said if you have a permit, but I don't even think if you have a permit, you're gonna get shot on the spot.
Right, because in Africa, we're not allowed to carry guns.
Everybody
The
looks like an arm
civilians.
robber.
Only the government if you're in the military, right?
Exactly.
Is it the same?
It's kind of like what it is in my country. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and I checked out In SARS, your music video.
Yes.
That one was right on time because I really like it. The lyrics, what it's talking about. I think people should take a listen to it because I think it's a really good video. The scenery.
Kind of like going into what he said, like saying, like talking about music that have a message.
Exactly.
It's something that I have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Because I started in the gospel, so back in the day, my music had a message.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
But honestly, like when you start understanding how the market works and what people want. You start having to sacrifice here and there and do things. Because I had to decide like if that was really my calling or is that something that my parents put on me when I was a kid.
Right.
And when I figured that out, I started doing what I love. And so music now became an expression for, for like what is going on in my life and what's going on back home, like in Africa and stuff. We love to party, we love to enjoy and have fun and have a good time, right?
Yes.
So our music started reflecting that because regardless of what the government is doing,
yes.
we said, forget them. We don't care. We're just going to have a good time and just live like we're the happiest people in the world. And that's what we started doing, and that's what our art started to reflect.
Nigerians are the life of the party. I mean, I'm not going to lie, they're the life of the party. I've been around so many Nigerians, and I'm just like, they're a good time.
We're just loud. We're just too loud.
Yeah.
For no reason. We're just loud everywhere we go.
They love to dance. I feel like nowadays, not even a lot of men dance, but man,
no,
they get down.
We love to dance. So, like, because of that, that's just a reflection of what's going on in our surroundings. But when some like important stuff like this is going on, of course, I cannot be singing about dancing and shaking your butt. Like, you know, you have to talk about something important because at this point, this is something that's like important to the people. You see what I'm saying? So like, if I'm really doing a service to them, I have to give them something that's gonna either help them or like something that's gonna spread awareness about it. So at first, when I kind of heard about what was going on, I already knew about the oppression from a long time ago because I lived in Nigeria. So I didn't know how to approach it. But then when I had fans like hitting me up in my DM like, oh bro, like you have to help us spread awareness. That's when I was like, okay, cool. It's more than just like fun now. Like you have to say something because somebody is looking up to you or somebody needs to see that from you. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the whole idea for the song came about. And I just wanted to kind of like just write something that would kind of like express what the youth in Nigeria is saying. You know, which is just saying like, yo, just because I look like this don't mean I'm a criminal. You know, just because I'm carrying a laptop don't mean I'm a cyber like scammer. You see what I'm saying? Just because you see what I'm saying? Like that's what they do. They just judge you because they sometimes they see young guys driving nice cars and they're like, why are you driving a nice car in a country like this? Well, what if you worked for that? Like, what if you worked for it? Not everybody's into crime. So that's how the killings actually kind of started. They were killing people who were not actually criminals. You see what I'm saying? So, so that's why I felt like the need. I'm the kind of person that I like to speak for my own people. You see what I'm saying? So if they want to have fun and party, hey, I'll speak for you. I'll give you guys the music for that. You know, but if it's time for some serious stuff, I'll do that as well. And I actually like wrote a song about that's gonna be coming out soon, and it's an amazing song. It's not even, I don't think it's just a song for Nigeria or what's going on there. I just think it's a song for everybody in general that just want to win in life, because I feel like not just in Nigeria, in America, everybody's fighting to win. Like African Americans are fighting to live here. You know what I'm saying? Like Africans in Nigeria, we're fighting to live. You like, somebody might not be African, but they're fighting to win at their work. Somebody's fighting at you know, their marriage. You know, somebody. So like that song is just a song that I feel like people are gonna like hear, like connect to the message. Everybody's gonna be able to connect to the message, and I can't wait to put it out. I'm gonna try and like involve a lot of artists too, because I wanted to just like a positive message. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've been doing.
We need that.
I've been doing too much club like party stuff. Like once in a while, like it's time for us to like give back. You know what I'm saying? Just do something positive for the world, and not just always think about our pockets and stuff. So this song, like when it comes out, hopefully you guys hear about it, or I'll try and send it to you guys. But when it does come out, like I want the proceeds to like go back to like helping rebuild like some of the damages that happened in Nigeria and stuff. So
that's big.
Sitting here, like listening to you speak, I think something that stands out is the word greed. Because here in America, it's easy for us to say it's racism because of the history of racism here in America, and it's easy for us to identify a white person killing a black person and put it off as racism. In the situation back home in your country, you don't have the ability to say like, oh, it's racism because it's black people killing more black people. And I think that it's important that we all understand that it goes back to greed. Like you said, it goes to the fact that the police officers aren't being paid by their government. And so while our government is run by white people, majority white people, at the end of the day, it's still their greed that causes us to be in the situations that we're in, where we don't expand Medicaid. And so now you're putting poor people against poor people trying to make the bottom line. When if we expanded Medicaid, or if we were just to understand that, hey, $7.50 is not enough to live off of, so can we raise the minimum wage? And we won't do that for whatever reason. We obviously got money for war. We obviously got money to create a outer space military force, but we don't have money to raise minimum wage. We don't have money to make sure that people have food here in America. And so I think that the main thing that we really keep hitting on is the fact that greed is ruining humanity for all, again, humans across the globe, no matter where you are. When you're poor in India, when you're poor in Africa, when you're poor in America, it's all the same fight, regardless of whether you're black, white, light-skinned Indian, light-skinned African, whatever it may be. Your fight is, I just want to live. I just want to be able to eat, make sure my family can eat, and that I can wake up the next day and not have to worry about ended up being on the street because I couldn't pay my bills, ending up hungry for the next 3 days because I only got enough money to feed one of my kids and I got 3 kids, or whatever the case may be. So definitely wanted to just call out greed, because I think that that's a huge thing that we are speaking on.
Right.
And even to point on like what he said, I know he took it back to greed, but like some of the leaders who are corrupted in my country, I'll speak for my country again. Corruption, right?
Big thing.
Yeah. It's all goes down to greed. Still back to what he said. It's greed that causes them. But their greed is like on another level.
Oh, man, they
That's
got
Americans.
money, like,
Americans like
countries.
I don't know how the government works here, but I'm guessing they be doing some weird stuff.
Oh, Lily can tell us how the government works.
But guess what? Y'all got some
Spill
good
the
roads. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Spill the beans.
Y'all got some good roads. Y'all got light 24/7. You know, you got health care unless like Corona stuff like this happens. You know what I'm saying? So at least the people are still kind of satisfied a little bit to where they don't fight back.
Yeah.
But these people literally take money, like billions of dollars. Like if you look at their accounts overseas, like in America, they have accounts in America.
They don't even keep it.
They don't even keep it in their country to keep the economy going or whatever. I don't know how that stuff works. But like they go to a different country and put it there and invest it in their economy.
I studied about the Niger Delta.
You see what I'm saying? But one thing that I was also going to point out was the fact that like most of these leaders, they learned this stuff from the people that came and tried to, the first people that came and settled on our land.
Right, of course.
Which was greed that brought them there anyways in the first place. So our leaders, the people who they gave the torch to, and they said, okay, we're leaving you guys now. We're done. We took everything we can get from you guys. We're leaving. Whoever the people who got them, they learned from those guys.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
So they started.
It wasn't like we want the people to say who to put in office.
Exactly.
Yes.
I just heard there's a country.
Were placed there.
I just heard there's a country in France that in Nigeria, in Africa, that still pays France.
14. So France runs the central bank for 14 countries in Africa.
Wow.
Which to me doesn't make sense. This is 2020, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like
it's economic colonialism.
Exactly.
Because these countries, such as Cote d'Ivoire, I can't think of all of them off the top of my head, but majority of the countries that France colonized, after France left, they were like, well, we won't accept your money unless you pay us for it. And so these 14 countries, literally, when they bring in their country revenue, they have to pay France first. And then France gives them their money back as a acceptance. Same thing France did with Haiti. France has literally made countries poor to continue their profits. So Haiti, France, after losing 2 wars with them against the rebellion, forced Haiti, said, you know what, you can have your freedom. But since we built the schools, since we built the roads, since we built this infrastructure for you, you have to pay us back to have your freedom. And so one of the major reasons that Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the world is because instead of being able to keep its money, it's been having to pay back France for fighting for its freedom, pretty much. If they would have stayed a slave country, then France wouldn't have treated them like that. But since they won and fought for their freedom and was able to gain their freedom, France was like, we can't beat you on a battlefield, we'll beat you in the strategic economic field.
You see what I'm saying? So like for me, it's just like when I think about that kind of stuff, I'm just like, we're in 2020. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like things like this, we shouldn't be hearing. That should be stuff we heard about like, like years
A long time ago.
That shouldn't be something that's going on today. But what I'm just trying to point to is that we did not just start being this way.
We didn't deal with it in the past, so now it's surfacing.
We learned it from people.
Yes.
We learned it from, the white man.
Yes.
They taught us that stuff. It's just that our greed became too much. In my country, I'll speak for myself. Our greed became too much to where people are hiding billions in houses, and those money like just end up like after years, just, you know, money, I don't know, it decays or whatever.
The interest goes up.
It's not just the interest, like the money is pretty much done. Like you go into this house, it deteriorate,
Right.
Like, and it's just like, why? And there's people that's suffering. And some of these people, like, there was a warehouse in Nigeria that was found just throughout this whole stuff that's going on. And, you know, apparently there were some foods that were being sent to Nigeria to help the poor for the pandemic. Some people had this food locked in stores.
Oh man, that's messed up.
So nobody can get food, right? And everybody can get hungry.
Up.
And guess what they do? They
Now
turn
you gotta
around and
come back.
sell it.
Yeah, that's sad.
You see what I'm saying?
That's really sad.
But all these things, they all learn from somebody. Somebody had to teach them. You see what I'm saying? So our leadership in Africa, man, like that's what the awareness that I'm trying to bring, you know? So like just, we have bad leadership, man. We have everything we need. It's a beautiful country. Nigeria is a beautiful country. We have beautiful...
It's a wealthy country.
Like it could be, what you call it, when you, a tourist...
Yeah, tourist
attraction. Easily. We have nice beaches, like nice weather, you know?
Definitely.
But these people, they do not invest in the things that need to be invested in the country. They just keep the money for themselves. And that's what the people are tired of. I'm tired of it. That's the reason why I'm in America. You know? Like the countries, like it's so fruitful to where like I feel like after I was done with my education here, I'm back home. But like I can't go back home because it's not convenient. It's not comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And then there's just so much oppression you got to deal with.
You also have dreams.
I have dreams, you know?
Dreams.
Which, I mean, for me, actually, going back would be a good idea for me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know you might get to work, you know, with somebody here.
But it's just like going to deal with all that stuff. Like, as a musician in Nigeria, I went back home 3 years ago and I was harassed by the police. My uncle was trying to fight.
Oh, I remember that. It was actually on a network. I seen you on a channel.
Well, I was on tour, like I was TV, like radio.
And stuff, yes.
It was actually like big for me, but like I just had to like learn how the system works because I've been out of Nigeria for a long time too. So I had to realize like, yo, things are not exactly the way it used to be. But we got pulled over on the road and the cop was trying to harass us for money because he saw me and it's like, okay, this one is not from here.
Right.
He obviously has money, you know? So that's how they make their bread because the government don't pay them. So they have to harass people on the road and kind of like put false stuff on them sometimes just to get money, you know? Or will arrest you or will shoot you, you know, stuff like that. You know, so like, and he was trying to get aggressive because he knew I'm not going to do anything, you know?
Right.
So I was just telling my uncle like, yo, just give him the money, bro. Just give him the money so we don't deal with this. And we have to just pay him off. My uncle was trying to fight with him because he's from there. But that's how they get shot. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately,
that's how they get shot. So I mean, like, I don't know how I brought that back in here, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out, man. Like, you know, please, like, we need to, whatever we need to do to bring more awareness to the bad governance in Africa. Like, you know, we just need to just do whatever we can do to put it out there, even if it's like a post. It doesn't have to be a post. It can be like you telling somebody about it and somebody tells somebody. Word of mouth is still the best way of marketing.
Oh,
you feel me?
Yeah.
So like,
that's why we actually was excited that both of you guys could make it in the same day because, you know, you're the spokesperson for your country right now, you know, because you have a platform that other people does not have. So
responsibility.
Yes. So people are, you know, looking up to you and they're like, yo, Mic O, like, you need to post this, you need to say something, you need to make a song because that's your gift, you know? And then we're looking at, you know, people like LeLann that's just, you know, educated to kind of lead us because we don't have the ropes that LeLann have. So it's kind of like, you know, both of you guys making it here, it means a lot to us and, you know, for all of us to exchange, you know, this knowledge because it affects the politicians, it affects, you know, the musicians that care. You know?
And it's also like, I mean, I'm glad to be in this podcast because, you know, hearing his perspective as well. You know, you guys, I mean, this is good.
This is excellent.
It's actually nice, you know what I'm saying? Nice setup, everything. Like, you guys should just keep doing it. And for like him, I'm actually proud because he's a black man.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm African, but I'm black. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're black first, you know, regardless of where you're from. And it's important for black people to just see that, you know, we're educated, we're smart in different ways too. Like, I might be an artist right now. I might not be like, you know, politician, you know what I'm saying? But I'm educated in my own field.
Right, for sure.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
And like, black people need to understand that education can be like anything. It could be like what you love. Like, as long as you spend time
Your craft.
mastering that craft.
Studying.
You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? You could be smart at that, and you can be an expert, and you can teach. You can actually make money, you know, doing, you know, that kind of stuff. So I love to see like black people like, you know, just exceeding in every way. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever their thing is, like whatever makes them happy. I love to see them exceeding. I love to see people who are striving for that, like for success. With you, you're trying to be a president. You know what I'm saying? At some point,
Hey,
and hopefully, bro, hopefully you're a president. You know what I'm saying?
I won't say I wouldn't.
Let me perform at the inauguration. Let me perform at the inauguration.
I got you.
Let me be the first African man to perform.
That's what we want, because if you really think about it, when you have like, you know, conscious artists like you know, that truly care about his
I'm not the
people.
conscious artist.
Okay.
I like to party, you know what I'm saying? But once in a while, you know.
But you know what I mean?
Right.
Conscious doesn't mean you don't party or anything, but you're aware, you know, you're in tune about, you know, what your people are going through at the same time that you're partying. Because some people, some artists, they're too busy partying, they don't care about what's going on, you know.
This is a balance for me, you know. You gotta be a balance here.
Yes, and I really like that about you, because I even remember you're about your stuff, you know. Your lyrics is not just, you know, like shitty or anything, because I remember, you know, back in the day, you're like, I talked to you about, I write fiction and stuff like that, and you're like, yo, when you gonna publish it? You're like, I don't like people that sit on their gift, you know, on their talent, you know? So I was like, damn, that
I don't remember that.
I remember it, because it hit me, you know? I was like, damn. I was like, he's right, you know? But you got to be around those people that's going to, you know, lift you up too. So, you know, artists, you know, different artists working with politicians, connecting with politicians, they could make a bigger noise.
That's a huge thing.
You know, they could make a bigger noise.
As far as like with the political education company, the reason I started it is because I was doing campaign management and I was working on campaigns, and I realized that there's a huge disconnect from the political candidates that are running for office and the people they're trying to connect. And I wanted to bridge that gap so that it's not politics is this one-off entity that we only have to worry about every 4 years during a presidential election, but get people to understand that, hey, this involves everything about your lifestyle, whether it's the sidewalks in your neighborhood, whether it's a park in your neighborhood, whether they're going to put a landfill in your neighborhood, now you got to deal with sewage going through your drains. Regardless of how you feel about which candidate and all of this, at the end of the day, if you pay taxes, that's your money. Your money is going towards our government. The least you can do is be educated on who's controlling where your money is going. And so when I created the political education company, it was so that I can bring in different people from different backgrounds who are conscious and understand that, hey, there's a political aspect to everything I do. And so if I'm going to make a difference, I also have to pay attention to education. And so by being able to bring in people like you to say, hey, immigrant voter turnout is extremely low. How can we reach these group of voters to help them understand that, hey, I understand that you may not fully feel like an American, or you may not fully feel like your vote matters, or what you're doing is important to the overall cause, but as a person with a daughter, everyone's decision has an impact on my daughter. And so if I'm not doing everything I can to influence you, to influence her, to influence everyone else on voting for what's best for the education system, then my daughter's going to suffer from that.
Exactly.
And so I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can for my daughter. And if I really want to do that, then I have to make sure I educate you where you stand. So if you are a huge person that listens to music, I need to go get music artists to say, hey, I need you to help me get them to get out and vote. If you're a person that's huge on sports, go get an athlete. Hey, I need you to help these people understand how important it is.
Because you have to meet people where they are too. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And he's a good leader for understanding that, and I commend you for that. Cause that's something that if you understand that, it makes you a great leader.
Exactly.
You know, you cannot reach everybody.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The way he speaks is really nice. I like it personally, but sadly, there's some people that, for some reason,
They can't.
They're just not
They
gonna
don't wanna
understand
hear
it. It's just like, man, I need a dictionary, bro. Like, what did you say again? You know,
Right.
it's just kind of like what it seems. And for some people, it's like, wow, you know, he was well spoken. You know,
Yes.
so it's like, but when you understand that, it makes you understand too, even with your products, like I was saying, like with your writing, like not everybody's gonna accept it. That's fine.
I remember you
There
saying
is
that.
people out there that's gonna accept it. But now your job though is not to just end it right there. Your job is to say, who can I find that can talk to these people, talk to these people, talk to these people,
Network.
talk to these people,
Yeah.
talk to these people, and get them to understand my vision.
Mm-hmm.
That way they'll talk to them in the way they'll understand. He'll talk to them in the way he'll understand. And then boom, all these people now get your vision.
Yeah.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
But the things that we try to force everybody. Oh, my music. Everybody gotta like it. He
Yeah.
ain't gonna like that
One-size
stuff.
Yeah.
He's not used to that. He's not used to that, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? I can get him to be a fan though.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
I can get him to be a fan of me.
He's very diverse too. I'm gonna take it back.
But see, I don't even have to make him be a fan of my music. I can get
Yes.
him to be a fan of me,
Which
will make him support anything I do.
That's true. I like
That's
that.
what people don't think, you know. So
Right.
I just wanted to put that in there.
Right. But I'm glad you brought that up. And that's why, I've been saying that from the beginning. Like, I like this, this group that we have here. Just because of, what you guys are doing out there. You guys are not just doing what you do usually. You have to get out of your routine and speak for those people. And we really appreciate that. But just to reel it back, it was a coincidence how he mentioned a quote of Malcolm X, because you're a big fan of Malcolm X.
real?
I know that.
Yes.
Yeah. So is that who inspired you to become a politician or to get into politics?
Yes. So a mixture of Malcolm X and Huey P. Newton, because Malcolm X understood that self-defense isn't something we should be ashamed of. I believe that Martin Luther King is an amazing person. I think that it takes a holistic approach. And so one thing that I tell people is, you have diplomats whose job is to go and speak with people and try to resolve the issue without conflict. But then you also have your soldiers who, if this speaking doesn't work, then we can send in force if we need to. And so with that holistic approach, myself personally, because of the things that I lived through and have seen, I found myself being more so a soldier than a diplomat, because I'm not a person that's going to be able to just stand by and watch and peacefully protest when we continue to get killed. I'm not a person who's going to be able to wholeheartedly stand there and say, be non-violent, when we've seen nothing but violence against us. I can't wholeheartedly stand up and say, hey, don't act out, don't burn buildings, don't do these things, when these are the exact things that have been done to us for generations on end. And so Malcolm X had another quote. He said, I'm for justice no matter who it's for. And so that's where I stand, where it's like, I'm pro-black. I'm a black nationalist. I have no problem admitting that. But I also understand that there are white people who die at the hands of police. And because they're white doesn't mean that they're any less than the black man. We have to understand that this is a fight against a system. And so while we are looking at the smoking mirrors and the statistics are true that black people are being killed at a higher rate and being arrested at a higher rate than white people, we have to understand that this is an overall system, and that if we as black people completely isolate ourselves from white people, we're not going to be able to make this fight happen. We're not going to be able to bring the change we need. And so I'm for justice no matter who it is, whether it's a white kid, whether it's an Asian kid, whether it's a black kid, especially if it's a black kid, because that black kid looks like me. That black kid looks like my family members. But I also understand that we have to fight against the whole system. And the only way that we can fight against the whole system is if we bring in white people who are willing to work with us, who understand that, hey, I see and recognize your fight. For example, same thing with Nigeria. I've never been in Nigeria. I do have Nigerian friends, and I don't necessarily fully understand what it's like to be pulled over in Nigeria. However, what I can do is understand his situation, understand that him as a black man and has family there have concerns about what's going on. Those same concerns are very similar to the concerns I have. So instead of ignoring it and saying that this ain't got nothing to do with me because I'm not from Nigeria, I'm not Nigerian, I can say, hey, you know what, I got friends who are Nigerian. I can make a post and share with them. So even if I just bring in 2 or 3 extra people to fight for justice in Nigeria, I've done my part. And that's something that I feel like Malcolm X fully grasped. He understood that, hey, we have to be politically educated because politics is what controls our system. Well, we also have to understand that there's going to come a point in time where we have to defend ourselves. We can no longer just be idle. We can no longer be just sheep. We have to fight for our freedom. And if you look at American history shows that fighting for freedom has always been the tactic. Nothing in America, the country didn't come about because they got sick and tired of being taxed by Britain. No, they fought Britain and took their freedom. They came to America, fought the Native Americans and took their land. They fought the South and took the Union. It has never been a peaceful protest that caused America to become what it is. It's always been violence, and that's on a global scale. America has gone to other countries and fought them based on what their belief was, whether it was right or wrong. And so it shows me that a Malcolm X quote, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can't tell me that you want me to peacefully protest in the streets to stop police violence, yet y'all have used police violence to put us in these predicaments. If you want me to stop teaching violence, well, not even teaching violence, if you want me to stop teaching self-defense, stop being violent toward me.
Yes.
And so that's my biggest thing on why I believe Malcolm X had it right for me. I don't think that everyone needs to be that way. Everyone isn't a soldier. Everyone's not built to be on the front line. Everyone's not built to be prepared to handle the things that you face. I get criticism all the time. I get death threats. I've gotten all types of messages from racist people who say all types of ignorant things. It's not for everybody. It's not something that I would even encourage people to get involved with unless they fully understood what it means to stand in front of a police officer and tell him how you truly feel, and you have to be prepared for whatever may come back. If I get beat in these streets while I'm out here protesting, if for example I questioned whether I should bring my daughter to the Black Lives Matter painting, mural painting, because I wasn't sure.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how that would turn out. I wasn't sure if there would be police security. I wasn't sure if there would be someone there to protect us in case racists acted out. But I understood that, hey, for me, this is what I'm willing to die for. This is what I'm willing to lay my life on the line for, because at any given moment, that could be me regardless. And so if I'm going to die for it, I'd rather die fighting for it than to die being a sheep for it. So self-defense is huge. And as far as Huey P. Newton understood the power of the collective. And so when he started the Black Panthers and the 10-point platform of the Black Panthers, that was another thing that was huge for me, because I understood the collective group, but also understanding this is not just about fighting the government. And that's one thing that I also teach people or tell people: don't fall in love with the fight. That's toxic. For you to enjoy going out and protesting, for you to enjoy fighting the system. We shouldn't fall in love with fighting the system, because then we get stuck. Because if we ever actually accomplish what we set out to do, then you won't be happy and won't be able to enjoy the freedom, because you fell in love with fighting for the freedom. And so being with learning about the Black Panthers and them starting the Free Breakfast Club. Those are the type of things that I realized, like, hey, this is what it takes. It's not just fight the system. It's also help your community. It's also protect your community. It's not just I need to go fight the government. It's also my next door neighbor is a black person who is struggling, and because they're struggling, that has potential to affect my success. And so I'm going to help my neighbor. One thing, when I was in Nairobi, Kenya, one thing that the people that I was staying with said was, we have an open door policy. That if anybody in our community is hungry, they can come to our house, knock on the door, and get food.
Yes.
And it blew my mind. I was like, man,
that's how it is in Africa.
Yeah, it blew my mind, because I was like, there's no way a random person can knock on my door and get some food. But when they explained it to me that he can either knock on your door openly and you can greet him and y'all can build a relationship and you can feed this man, or he could break into your house, kill you, and take what you have. Which do you prefer? Once I understood, I was like, oh, that makes 100% makes sense. Of course, open the door and let this man come in and eat.
Yes.
And so those are the two biggest influences, I would say, Malcolm X and Huey P. Newton with the Black Panther Party.
I want to touch on something that somebody told me that kind of like reminded me of what he said. Somebody was like, if God gives you something, you might as well just give it away, or when he takes it, you're not going to like it. Whatever we have, like, is meant to be given.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're not meant to hold. It's just that greed mentality that got us thinking all this shit is vanity. So excuse my language. Sorry.
No, definitely you can curse here.
Like,
that's why I said the F word. I was like, I don't know.
No, you can curse here. You know, don't worry, we're all grown, okay?
Yeah, okay. Bro, it's true, man. Like, he was saying, like, like if you either like open it up for people, or somebody can come take it from you, and that's the mentality we're supposed to have. Like, that's the mentality I feel like, the government is supposed to have with the people as well, open it up for people as well. But some governments, at least my government, try to hold these resources away from these people, and it's their tax money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, and it's not fair, but I just wanted to throw that into what you said.
Appreciate it, yeah.
So in the spirit of giving, what is next for you that, we should expect?
So actually, I took the past 1 week to just like think about ways that I could give back. And that's like, which was the song that I'm going to be recording. This is going to be different because it's not just me, it's not about me. I'm going to be doing it with some of my friends who are musicians. Okay. Actually, as much as
a couple of collabs?
Yeah.
Multiple collabs?
Yeah, we want them to be part of it, and just so we can spread the word to everybody,
Right.
So in the future, that's what they can look up to. And I'm planning on going on tour here. Like,
that would be really nice, because the other thing that you guys don't know about Mic O is he's a great dancer. You kind of remind me. Back in the day, I was watching like your videos like 10 years ago. You reminded me of like young Neo.
Yeah.
I was like, why does he remind me of Neo? Like, it's so crazy.
When I started,
you've grown so much.
I was trying so hard to be like the Americans. I wanted to, like,
it didn't even look like it. It was effortless.
Is that whole like, mindset, like perception, as a kid I grew up watching TV. That's the idea of like, what,
just like any African kid,
right?
that's how it was.
But then I grew up and I started finding myself, I'm like, nah, they're trying to be like us. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not trying to be like them. They're trying to be like us. I don't need to go follow nobody. So I used to try and do the Chris Brown thing. It came from Africa. African girls don't need to twerk. They just need to walk.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But
exactly.
So for me, I was like, I gotta go back to my roots, man. And even with the gospel, when I was doing gospel, I had met Lecrae. I don't know if you guys know Lecrae.
I do know Lecrae.
I worked my way up to where I met Lecrae, and I was talking to him. I was like, yo, I'm trying to break in, man. I'm trying to break in. That artist talk. And he was like, man, where you from? I said, I'm from Nigeria. It's like, you're Nigerian. You don't need to be different, bro. Just do your own music. Don't try to sound like me. You know what I'm saying? Sound like you. And to me, that was like, powerful. That was very powerful for me, because I was like, I've been scared of my own culture. I've been doing Afro beats for a long time. I just was scared to put it out. Wow. So I started doing like R&B, pop, just whatever I think people would appreciate around me, because I wanted to, you know, keep my guys happy as well. But at the same time, like, you know, I had to go back.
Afrobeats is popping right now, and Attah, am I saying it right? Attah.
Yeah. It's, see, Attah, people don't know
Attah.
yet. Attah.
I can say it in my language, it's like, the accent is the same. Attah.
Attah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attah means in my language like you.
For real?
Hey you.
Like, hey you?
Yes.
Oh.
So what does it mean? What does your album, you know, Attah mean?
Okay, so I'm from the Igala tribe in Nigeria.
Okay.
We're a very, very small tribe. So in Nigeria, it's comprised of 3 main languages: Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, because we have so many different languages. So they just pretty much just brought it down to 3 main languages and say this is the 3 languages that's going to represent us. But there's like hundreds of other more. So mine is one of the hundreds that people don't really pay attention to. So we're a very, very small group. So as I was going in the journey of like trying to find myself and, you know, do something that's more authentic to me and where I'm from, and kind of like let people know where I'm from too, because people kind of used to think I was from like Igbo or like Yoruba, you know. So I wanted to let people know where I'm from. So Attah means king in my culture.
Okay.
Right. So it's like a self-actualization album where I'm realizing who I am, and I'm saying, hey, I'm the king. You know, I don't need them to crown me. I'm gonna crown myself. You know what I'm saying? Because we are royalty, like, and we need to start seeing ourselves like that. Black people don't. A lot of black people don't see themselves like that. You know, they don't think they can do a lot because they don't see themselves like they can do a lot.
Right.
So when you start looking at yourself like, okay, I am that, then maybe you are gonna be that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that was. And the song is that's a song on the album called Attah. I just wanted to like just give reference to like my people and where I'm from. So on the album I kind of talked about, you know, where I'm from and all that. So
okay, okay. So I wanted to ask you. You said the next one you're planning to collab with a lot of people, and would it be Afrobeats also, or would it be a mixture?
So yeah, the song is gonna be an Afrobeat song, but it's gonna be like it's more of a positive song.
Okay.
It's not gonna be for partying. It's just something positive, uplifting. You know, because I feel like that's what the people need right now. You know what I'm saying? People still need to, you know, have fun to get their mind away from what's going on in the world. But at the same time, people need positivity and something that has value. You know, because like the music we do these days, like fast food music. It's like quick, bang, bang, bang.
Right,
you know? There's not a lot of music that's lasting long. But I think for people like me who can actually do the fast food music, but then I can also like create something that's meaningful, I think people need to see that as well. So
you're very diverse. That's what I like about you as as a person. You know, you're very motivated. Obviously, you motivated me, and you know, I'm sure a bunch of other people. But another thing I wanted to ask you is, so now just to kind of put light to the situation, I know we've been talking about, you know, what's going on out there. So we have this game called Deep Diving. All right.
Yeah.
So you're stuck in an elevator for 90 seconds with your hero.
Okay.
What do you tell him about yourself? First of all, who's your hero?
My hero. Hey, my hero. God. God is my hero. Now, right now, I would say, my hero right now would be my sister. She doesn't even know that yet. You know what I'm saying?
I met your sister. She's really cool. She's a really
cool
person.
I mean, it's not one of those things I'm just trying to say because, you know, family say that stuff. But it's just like, you know, sometimes you just think about what people go through. And you're like, how did this person like get through
all this stuff?
You know what I'm saying? And especially the people that you don't expect to go through that stuff. So for me, like, I think that would be my hero right now. And if I'm stuck with her in the elevator, it'd be like regular regular stuff. Of course, I'm not gonna tell her that because, you know, her head is gonna be like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But you know, I'm very, very proud of my sister, and you know, like all the stuff that she's been through. And
yeah, I did that.
Yes,
What about you, LeLann? If you was stuck in the elevator for 90 seconds, so we're playing this game called Deep Diving. So you're stuck in the elevator with your hero for 90 seconds. What do you tell them about yourself?
I guess the first thing that I would tell them is like that they're my hero. Just acknowledge the fact that, whatever it is about them.
Who's your hero?
I was gonna say, I guess for me, my hero would be my mother. Just because, similar to what he said, like to understand, especially as an adult, as a child, seeing my mother do the things that she did and go through the things that she did, as a child was kind of like understood that you're just being a mom. But as an adult, as a parent myself, looking at it now, it's just like, man, Ma, you was you was doing way more heroic things than just being a mother. Like you were providing out of nowhere. Like you were making miracles happen pretty much. So if I was in the elevator for 90 seconds with my mom, or with her as the hero, not necessarily her as my mom, but as any single parent mother, I would just let them know, like, don't stop, because you are inspiring the next generation of heroes. And so as a hero to me, you have inspired me to do the work that I do. And the reason I do what I do is because I know there's a child out there. There's somebody who's watching that's going to grow up and say, hey, you're the reason that I decided to not give up. You're the reason that I decided to walk away from the hype and live my purpose. And so that's what that conversation will look like. Just kind of explaining to them, hey, I appreciate you for being my hero, and it's because of you that I'm where I'm at in my life.
Okay. So second question. What do you look for in a woman? You guys are two powerful black men.
Yeah.
What do you guys look for in a woman?
That's
somebody that's really a backbone to y'all.
For me, someone that I can be vulnerable with. I think that's the number one thing, because I do all the domesticated things. I fold clothes, I cook dinner, I take my daughter to school, pick my daughter up from school. So
you do her hair, which is impressive, by the way. I saw that.
I wish I could do that.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
I do want to give her mom a shout out. Her mom definitely keeps her hair looking nice. But I have tried multiple times to do her hair, so I will say that. But for me, when looking for a woman, it has to be somebody that, one, motivates me to continue to go out and get it. I'm career driven. Like, I can't say it enough. Like, my career, which is pretty much giving back to other people, is what drives me. And so I would need a woman who understands that she has to connect with me on an intellectual level. She has to connect with me on a passion level, so that way when I'm out in the streets protesting or fighting for justice, that's something that she's passionate about too. And it's not something that she's just like, well, that's you, that's what you go do, I'm gonna sit over here. I need her to understand that, hey, you're a black woman, and so when I'm out here fighting for justice, it's for you.
I need you to walk with me.
I need you to be right there with
me, girl.
And in that same sense, because of the situations that I put myself into by doing that, I need to be able to come home and be able to lay on her shoulder and cry, because ain't nobody else gonna get to see that.
Right.
I need to be able to come and lay on her lap and she stroke my head and make me feel like I'm in the safest place in the world, because every day I get up and leave the house, I'm no longer safe. I'm at risk no matter what I'm doing, no matter, just as a black man driving a car, I'm at risk of not making it home. And that is a deep mental part that a lot of people don't understand. And so just by coming home and laying my head in your lap, I need you to understand that, hey, this is the world to him, because he feels safe. He feels like he's not about to be attacked. He feels like he can be the most vulnerable him and cry if he needs to cry, and I'm not going to judge him or make him feel less than or expose his weakness, because I'm his queen and he should be able to feel that way with me.
Yes.
So that's what I look for, someone I can be vulnerable with.
Okay. What about you, Michael?
You just said everything.
I was like, everything.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean, like for me, I'm gonna be honest. The looks get me first. You know what I'm saying? Because that's
I
cannot.
You gotta look good.
Yeah,
it's easier to be vulnerable with a beautiful
politically
woman.
correct, LeLann.
Exactly.
It's easier to be politically correct.
You know, because
left that out.
honestly, I cannot just look at somebody and just know, okay, this person. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, so for me, I like features. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But after that, you know, after the fun is over.
Are you a boob man or a butt man?
Butt man, yeah.
Okay.
But both of them actually. I'm actually realizing that.
Okay.
You know, I like the front and the back.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
It's like all sides of the woman.
Yeah. So for me, like, that's how it starts, and then, and I usually don't like. I'm very like honest at first, just like we're having fun. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then when I start to see, I look for, you know, little things like what he's saying. You know, little signs of those, because people have habits, right? People have habits of doing good things, and usually you see that through their actions. And you know the people that do bad things, and you see that through their actions. So I pay attention to like you know, some of those good attributes. Like, is she supportive? You know, is she somebody that I'm comfortable being myself around, like crying? You know, because sometimes life gets hard.
Right.
And as a man, you need to cry. Like, I don't like you just need to. You just don't need to cry in front of people. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, but there are times when you need to cry, and it's okay to have somebody to share that experience.
It's okay to have emotions.
You know what I'm saying? To share that experience with, because just doing it by yourself sometimes is not easy. So like having somebody that you can be vulnerable with, like he said, is one of the like important thing for guys, because most guys bottle up a lot of emotions.
That's 100.
Even me, like, I've grown up in a family where I wasn't able to talk to my mom like that, and my parents weren't there, so a lot of my emotions I just kept to myself. Exactly.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I grew up. I got 2 older brothers, so between a father and 2 older brothers, I grew up in a very masculine household, so crying was not allowed. Like, you got to be a man, and it was never like a safe space to cry unless I was around only my mom, because the masculinity, and I mean, I think that's very toxic. That's something that is a whole nother conversation, a whole nother podcast about black men being raised. But even my father, who was raised in a small town. He was raised in Brownsville, Tennessee, which is a very small town, and so once I got older, I realized like I couldn't fault him for not being emotional, because he was raised where that's not acceptable, because as a black man in America, especially during his time of growing up, crying is not allowed. You gotta stand up for so much more. You don't have time to cry, and so now with, like you said, like people with therapy being acceptable, with being able to actually talk through your emotions and being able to explain things, now it's more acceptable for me to be able to say on camera, hey, I need a woman that I can go cry in her lap, and so that way I can express that and get it off my chest, because it is oftentimes bottled in. And that's because that's how we've been taught. And the reason we've been taught that is because earlier generations didn't have these privileges to say, hey, I'm a black man and I need to cry, because there was so much more to life as a black man trying not to get killed during racism and all that other stuff. It was like, you ain't got time to cry, bro. Like, everybody got these struggles. So now, just hitting on the same point he said, like, honestly, being able to just break down and say, hey, I've bottled this in all day, babe. I got a ain't shit ass boss who been riding me. I got, I'm driving home late night, so I'm scared that I might get pulled over. I'm not getting paid the same wages. Even women, like women don't get paid the same wages. So it's like, as a black man, there's so much pressure that we have to carry every day that it's Friday, baby. I don't want to go out. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to sit here next to you and be vulnerable, and it'd be okay for me to be vulnerable.
Yes, it should be.
Yeah. It's nothing wrong for a black man to feel vulnerable, man. Like, just be yourself.
Yeah.
And find somebody that you can trust, that loves you at your up, when you're up and when you're down, and cares about you, you know?
Yes.
It's kind of
that's
like a puzzle.
what we want. That's what we want. We want you guys to be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. Be real with us. You know, we don't
y'all
want you
gotta
guys
open
to.
that safe space.
This is a girls are like, can you be real with me? And then the guy be real with them, like, why do you say that?
Well, we're very detailed. You know, women are very detailed. So when we're asking you to be real, it's because, come on now, spill the beans slowly. You know, you're just like, how, you know, oh, what happened at such and such house? Oh, it was cool. It was a cool party. No, tell me how. You know, but okay. So on your album, Attah, there's a song called "I'm Sorry."
Yes.
So would you feel?
Weird, by the way.
Would you feel the same way that you were saying on some of the lyrics? You were saying that, you know, basically, is he better? You know, kind of along those lines.
Is he better? Are you saying,
like, you know?
So I was talking about myself.
Yeah,
on the song. So I'm sorry, I was just talking about an experience where, you know, I kind of did something where I kind of crossed the line a little bit.
Did you cheat?
Hey, that's a very, very important question. You know, we'll answer that question a different day, ladies and gentlemen. But what happened is that, thank God for forgiveness and restoration. It wasn't me. It wasn't me at the time, you know. So, anyways, what was the question? Nah.
Attah, do you feel, you know, do you sometimes feel that way, or is that like in real life? Did it happen in real life?
Yeah, so it actually happened in real life. So I wanted that song to be on there because that's a song where I was kind of like, you know, being vulnerable.
Okay.
You know, a lot of guys don't say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
At least not in public. You know, they don't want to. We don't want to feel like, oh, like, you know. Even me too. For a while, like it took me a long time before I could like get myself to just like admit that I'm wrong and just say I'm sorry. You know, it's just like ego thing for guys. So I wanted that to be on there so that ladies know that, you know, there are some guys out there who, whenever they do mess up, they own up to their shit and apologize. You know what I'm saying? So like, I wanted that message to go out there. That's why I put that song on there. And honestly, that song is actually one of the favorites for ladies because I guess they can connect to it. You know what I'm saying? Not too many guys actually apologize. And that's what a lot of women want. They want people that, like, women don't really ask for much, honestly. They just want somebody that's honest. And when you fuck up, just own up to your shit. Own up to your shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't try and, like, you know, act all. You just own up to the shit. So I feel like that's, you know, what women want. So I wanted to make sure that that song's on there so that girls can, you know, relate to it and connect to that. So. Yeah.
Okay.
But it is a real story, and I did fuck up. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what I did, you know what I'm saying? But
Okay. Well, that's really cool. We're gonna wrap up. So thank you guys for making it out here for, you know, this show. First, let's talk about it. You know, so I feel very pleased that you guys could make it. And I feel honored. So, you know, we want you guys to come back. You know, it might be different days or something, but we want you guys to come back. We can hopefully talk about something, happy moments. I know nowadays it's kind of, you know, hard times in Nigeria and, you know, in the whole Africa and in the whole world, period.
Yeah.
So we thank you guys for all of your insights that you guys provided. And we had so much fun.
Thank you guys for having us too, man. I appreciate you guys.
I'm going to do a real quick rundown. So early voting has already started. I was going to say, I know I got to do my plugs.
Yes, do your plugs.
So yes, early voting started October 14th. It goes through October 29th. So that's this coming Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I think it's Thursday. This coming Thursday. But you're able to get out and vote at any of the open locations during early voting. Election day is November 3rd. If you wait until November 3rd, election day, to go vote, you have to go to your assigned precinct. So make sure you get out and vote. It's one of the most important things you can do right now. Not just for president, but for state elected officials, local elected officials. It's extremely important that you take part in these things, and not just every 4 years for presidential elections, but 2 years where the Senate and the House Representatives are up for election, because that's the people who make laws. That's the people who put the bills on the president's desk. So we need to make sure that we're not just voting to win a presidential election, but we're voting to win elections, period, local, state, and federal. So make sure you get out and vote.
Yes.
Another one that I want to plug real quick, because we talked on this topic, is the Is it SARS? SARS.
Yes.
Okay, so SARS peaceful protest rally this Saturday, October 24th, from 12 to 2, I believe it is, downtown Legislative Plaza. To make sure you get out and support. If you aren't able to go, repost a flyer so that your friends can know to get out and show your support. We need to end police brutality worldwide, not just here in America, not just in Nigeria, but worldwide. We as civilians, we as humans deserve to be able to live freely and feel like we are able to move in free space without worrying about our government killing us. So make sure you get out and support that event. Make sure you get out and vote. And
make sure you get your LeLann For President
merch
on his website. Where could they find you?
So my website is www.LeLannForPresident.com. You're able to find enormous resources such as where you're supposed to go to vote. So if you don't know where to go, you can go to the resource page and get that information. If you want to know who your elected officials are, that's also on my website. If you're looking to get involved as far as community service events, you can do that on there, as well as, like I said, I have a political education curriculum and workbook that is coming soon, so you're able to get involved, learn who your elected officials are, learn what position, power, and purpose they have, so that way you can hold them accountable to making sure you get the most for your vote. So, LeLann For President, Instagram, LeLann For President, Facebook, and www.LeLannForPresident.com.
Okay, and for Mic O, we got Attah. Make sure you get the album.
Please.
Yes, it's really nice. I really enjoyed it. So, where could they find you? Like, on what platforms?
You guys can find me at Instagram at micogreatness. That's micogreatness. On Twitter, same thing, micogreatness. And on YouTube, you can just look for me at mic space O. That's Mic O. So check me out. I got great music. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be doing some
I can vouch for him.
more positive and uplifting music. As the people need it.
Yes.
So just be on the lookout and yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming again. This means a lot to us. Like I said, I'm blessed to have two great, powerful black men here in the room. So, sharing, their gifts with us. So, thank you, and we hope to have you next time.
Thanks for having me.
I was going to say whenever, just invite me back. I'll be here.
Thank you for tuning in for First Let's Talk About It. We appreciate it. We'll bring you much more great people. And we hope that you guys tune in. First, let's talk about it.